local.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Boogie Ellis has been on this show. Boogie Ellis, the former USC Trojan, has been waived per Mike Scotto, senior NBA insider, host of the Hoops Hype podcast. That happened this morning, Chris. A lot of people not thrilled about it. Okay, obviously, as we teased before the break, doesn't mean that it's over. Kings could still have some layer of interest. Doesn't mean something's going to happen. We will see how that all ends up. I want to take it here, Chris, because I do think that this is going to be a bit uncomfortable, but I do think that this is a part of sports and life in general, and timing is everything. Because the Kings, with that guard logjam, I don't want to say they put themselves in this situation because this is how they do business. They like for their G League to be hefty, right? They want to be able to produce guys at the NBA level and produce guys at the G League level. This is how you get a Keon Ellis, right? By stockpiling talent in Stockton and getting it done that way. But does it feel like Boogie Ellis, Chris, is for lack of a better term, a victim of bad timing? Because if you put everything to the side and, as we like to do, drop somebody in from Mars or Jupiter and just have them watch Summer League and preseason, I think that Boogie Ellis would have gotten the nod over Colby Jones, who has guaranteed money this year.
Because he was a second-round pick last year.
Right. And Mason Jones. Essentially, Boogie Ellis, to me, has been the best non-rotation guard. Mm-hmm. Okay? And unfortunately, this happens sometimes. It's happened to a lot of athletes, okay? Mm-hmm. He has just suffered from poor timing. But if you gave your favorite, Mike Brown, and the front office truth serum, would they have maybe wanted to keep Boogie instead of Colby or Mason?
I guess I just don't. Actually, I would probably say no. I think if you were to ask those guys, I mean, they've been very clear that they have not, it's not even really been an on the floor thing with Mason Jones, even though, especially like during Summer League, he definitely stepped up as a leader, and you see his body transformation. He's clearly taking his game a lot more seriously this year, and he even told us that on media day. Mm-hmm. I think they really like Mason Jones and what he brings from a veteran standpoint for that Stockton unit. And Colby, I still think that just because he's had a bad Summer League and a bad preseason, I don't think they fully quit on him. Like, Colby was still last season in the G League putting up crazy stats, like 6 steals a game, or 6 steals in a game. It's looking like Derek White, essentially, of the G League. And I think that they still have hope that he's going to develop into something this year. I just think that, it really is kind of like you said, a victim of his circumstance. There is a ton of guards on this Kings team, which just kind of puts him on the outside looking in, but that's also what the G League is for. Yeah. Like that's the part of me that really isn't freaking out too much, is the fact that the Kings have had a relationship with Boogie Ellis going since the draft, and they gave him an opportunity almost immediately after the draft. They gave him minutes with the Summer League squad. They clearly liked him enough to bring him onto the training camp squad as well. I think it really does open up the possibility, and this is without knowing too much the ins and outs of how procedurally these things work, but it to me seems like there's still a possibility that Boogie Ellis could end up in Stockton on the G League team. And frankly, that's probably where an undrafted rookie should go. It's great that he's shown so many signs throughout the season so far, but I don't think there's a universe with any team in which Boogie Ellis would have walked in day one as an undrafted point guard and been any team's backup point guard, if not their third point guard. I guess some people out there in Kingsland are arguing that the Kings should have moved on from Mason Jones and had Boogie be in that spot. But, You've seen Boogie Ellis play for about 8 games or something like that. I just think that maybe people are getting a little too excited, and that, Boogie Ellis's future is a lot more important, I think, than Boogie Ellis right now. So to me, the important thing when it comes to Boogie Ellis is retaining his rights in some capacity and making sure that if he is going to play in the NBA or if he is going to play in the G League, it's going to be in the Sacramento Kings system at least.
Yeah, and look, there are other options out there. Some people want to do things different ways. G League is an option, overseas is an option. We will find out what it is that Boogie Ellis wants, and I think a lot of this stuff does tend to come out. Chris, as you were talking, it made me think and then kind of argue my thought process, because as you were talking, my first thought was, okay, well, if y'all knew you had this many guards, you're interested in me. I'm Boogie Ellis, very a similar situation to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Justin Fields admitted, hey, I could have done things better. I think there was a clear understanding of that. Boogie Ellis, nobody's going to shoot 100%, right? Boogie Ellis was probably real quick to the ceiling on how good an undrafted free agent could play in order to make a push, and it still wasn't enough. So my first thought was, if y'all knew you had too many guards, why even bring me in and waste my time? But at the same time, I do think my counterpoint to that was that in the G League, things do, or in this business, things do work a little bit differently, and that's still a team giving you a look.
Yeah, that's
so where it's on tape, like you said, nobody is looking for you to save their franchise immediately or even in the near future. No. So the Kings gave you an opportunity to put a bunch of you did the rest, and Mike Brown will tell you that we gave you an opportunity to put tape out there. Okay, and we wanted to see if maybe something would work. Now you have that tape. Yeah. You can take it to the rest of you can take it to other teams. If somebody really wants you, they'll find a way to get you, right? They can come and get you. You want to send it, you can send it overseas. You can do a lot of things with it. Yeah. So at first I thought, well, why did the Kings even waste this guy's time is what I'm thinking of. Then on the other side, you never know what could happen. An injury could have happened during the summer league. Preseason could happen. The bottom line is Boogie didn't get drafted. Yeah. Okay. Kings were first on the line. They were very high on you. They had to make some tough decisions. Now the ball could more so be in Boogie Ellis's court, or the ball is in the court of other teams, and we'll see what happens. I think when you see some of the guys, Chris, to take it back to the fan perspective, I know that some fans get out there to Stockton, but I don't think a ton of fans do. So if you've been watching a Colby Jones or a Mason Jones, you can make the argument you saw Boogie Ellis for 8 games. They might have seen Boogie Ellis more than they seen Mason Jones and Colby Jones. So that could be affecting how they view it. And I think I might be guilty of that too, to be completely honest with you, because Mason Jones did not play a lot. He was up there last season. Colby Jones played at the beginning, and then he essentially got leapfrogged by Keon Ellis. So you could understand why Kings fans could say, what is the plan with these guys? And we're never going to, Monty McNair's not going to come out and say, hey, here's an update on our plan with Colby Jones. Here's an update on our plan with Mason Jones. We didn't have an update on Keon Ellis. It's just he got an opportunity, and slowly but surely he took advantage. So it's a tough call. I know it was a tough call for the Kings. But also, when you spend time developing dudes, you can't just throw them to the wayside because somebody had a hot camp. So they probably made the right decision, but I also understand why Kings fans from the outside looking in might not agree.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what the immediate freak out is, just because we don't know what the future holds. Like, I think a lot of people are, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think a lot of people are automatically assuming that Boogie Ellis, like, this is just them completely cutting ties with him. And I don't think anything that we've seen that's been reported or that's out there currently suggests that there's not the possibility or probability even that Boogie Ellis returns. That's the part of that I just haven't quite gotten to an understanding with the reaction portion of this. And I get that it is reaction, and when the next news drops, people will react to that too. But it's just, to me, like, we're talking about the 15th, 16th guy at the end of the bench. And I understand it's a developmental piece that you want to keep for the future, but there's nothing that's been indicated so far besides the fact that there's been a lack of a follow-up to it that suggests that the Kings and Boogie Ellis are completely done. And even if they are, like, I don't know. I mean, Boogie Ellis was really fun, but I don't want if you follow Kings fans right now, you would think that they just cut De'Aaron Fox or something. Like, it just feels like there's way too much discourse for, like it reminds me of, Harry Giles being let go or Skal Labissiere being let go the first time. I think sometimes fans get way too attached to these guys that are at the end of the roster and at the end of the day really don't make an impact. And that's coming from a guy who has a Harry Giles jersey. So,
well, that, and it's funny enough because what else do we hear from Kings fans? Too many guards.
Too many guards.
So they got rid of a guard, but it
wasn't the right one.
It wasn't the right. It was
according to Kings.
It was not the right one. This isn't a Kings fan thing, though. Every fan base has a guy who, if we only gave this random dude an opportunity, we'd have the parade.
Yeah.
And the reality is that's not the case. I just think that Boogie Ellis gave a lot of people a lot of great feelings during summer league, and he's a dog. The way he plays, it's fun.
Yeah.
Right. It's Rob Dillingham light in a way, right? So I think a lot of people just enjoy watching that, and we'll see what happens.
You either get Drew Timme or Boogie Ellis. Pick one, man. Not you know who I'm picking.
I know who you. I don't know who you. I don't know who you're picking. Okay, so here's the deal. Chris Watkins wants to have some fun. With my guy Spencer Rattler. Chris Watkins has pulled the audio from QB1 from Netflix. Nate has chopped and screwed it. DJ Bedhead.
I also have a little potential insider information on Ricky Pearsall. Too.
Okay. Well, that is all coming
you guys
up.
Don't even know.
There you go. That is all coming up in a couple minutes here. Don't go anywhere. Then 11 o'clock, things get real.
Ooh.
Okay. Our guy, Sam Amick, who was just on the morning show.
That's right.
He dropped something on the Athletic / New York Times. De'Aaron Fox on contract negotiations. It's going to heat up on this cool fall Friday. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Live and local.